What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So I'm super excited to talk about this one. A little polarizing. You have to like the DNA. You have to be okay with synthetic, but I think it's a great addition to the line. We are talking about the new Jean-Paul Gaultier Le Beau Paradise Garden, and I have a few thoughts, to say the least. So we're going to discuss it. Stay tuned. So I did get rid of the canister already, and it is one of the more interesting ones, but we'll take a quick look at the bottle. So as you can see, there's this little patch of leaves. It's an embroidered patch on the crotch this time around versus the gold leaf that was on the Le Parfum. And then you have a lighter colored green juice. That translucent colored glass from the EDT, gold atomizer, has the neck stopper for the atomizer with their typical great sprayer. Now let's talk about this scent. So when this one opens up, you're going to be reminded of Le Beau. It does smell like Le Beau EDT's DNA. You have the coconut here. Not so much citrus. This is a much greener scent profile. I have the notes on screen for you guys. This is a greener scent profile. This one kind of falls in between the Eau de Toilette and the Le Parfum. It's not as sweet as the Le Parfum. It's not as powdery as the Le Parfum, but it is more of that versus the Eau de Toilette because there's more going on here. The EDT is a bit more simplistic. The ginger here comes across as a slightly more earthy, slightly spiced ginger. You have this salted coconut, slightly bitter fig going on. It's a little woodsy, again, sweet, lightly powdery, very synthetic. You have to be okay with synthetic. If you like any of the other two in this line, you're cool with synthetic fragrances. Look, nothing here smells all that natural, but the coconut doesn't have a heavily sunscreen cocoa butter type of smell to it. You get a little bit of that, but it's a very tropical green, slightly earthy, woodsy fragrance. Saltwater aquatic kind of thing going on. I believe it's a coconut water note is what they're calling it. It does have a little bit of a watery feel. I don't think it's super aquatic, but what I do think is if you were looking for a greener take while still getting all of that tropical tone that both the previous renditions of this scent profile were, here you have it. I think it's a very good addition to this particular DNA. I'm happy with it. I was super excited to get this when it got announced. Fragrance Buy had a stock come in and it was gone in mere minutes. Both sizes, the 75 milliliter and the 125 milliliter like this. I was fortunate to be able to get my hands on it. I'm wearing it currently. I'm about to go take my shower in a little bit before it's off of my skin. I wanted to go ahead and get this review out because it's developed pretty well. I've been spending time with it for the last 2 days, 3 days, something like that, and it's really good. It's definitely one of my favorite releases so far this year, but at the same time, I could see where some won't care for this because you have to like coconut, you have to like synthetic. If you don't like either of those things, you're going to think this is a terrible release. If you do like, you're cool with these synthetic, unnatural smelling designer fragrances that are mass appealing, built for the crowd, you'll probably enjoy it. Though I do think this has a deeper character than just a basic mass appealing fragrance. It's good stuff. I'm very, very much happy with it. Now let's talk about performance. So it actually shines in performance. I wouldn't call it quite as strong as the Le Parfum, but again, falls right in the middle. It is stronger and longer lasting than the Eau de Toilette. I've been clocking it in the 9-10 hour range, so we can call it 8 to 10 hours of longevity. I'm sure some people are going to get more than that. Some people potentially less, but I'm falling in that higher end of the sweet spot of 8 to 10 hours of longevity. Projection on this one's actually pretty stout. It's relatively loud if you spray it a lot, which I don't think you really need to if you're looking to get noticed, if that's your intention, or if you're looking to really get a good sillage going for yourself. It's pretty strong. I wouldn't call it a straight-up beast, but it's close. It, again, falls right in the middle. It's stronger than the EDT in every subcategory of performance, longevity, projection, sillage, and falls just a tad shy of the way the Le Parfum performs on my skin in any ways. So very long lasting, as far as 8 to 10 hours. Projection on the heavier side for about 2 to 2.5 hours roughly. It really pumps off of my skin. Like, I was surprised it projected pretty heavily that long. We're talking slightly beyond arm's reach. So on the moderate to heavy side for about 2 to 2.5 hours. And then the sillage settles into kind of moderate sillage where I have been getting light reminders, not super light, but also not dense, strong whiffs of it, but I have, without having to look for it, been getting random whiffs of it coming off of my skin. I have 2 sprays on my forearm, I have 5 sprays around the neck. More sprays than I really needed. I would say 5 to 7 sprays is a sweet spot for this one. I'll probably do 5 sprays next time I wear it. 7 sprays wasn't necessary, but also isn't too much or cloying or anything like that. So that kind of is the sweet spot for me. So across the board, I would call it strong and above average without quite being a beast. Final thoughts on Le Beau Paradise Garden. I think this is a great offering from them. Le Beau Le Parfum is still my favorite Jean Paul Gaultier fragrance. The Le Beau fragrance line is one of my favorite men's designer fragrance lines. I'm not going to say it's my absolute favorite. There's others like the Spice Bomb line and the Strong With You line I like more than this line as a whole, but I'm a fan. I'm very much a fan of this DNA. I'm curious to see what they're going to do with a 4th flanker. Do we get Le Beau Elixir next time? I thought this was going to end up being Le Beau Elixir, but what we did get, I'm very much happy with. A slightly more earthy, gingery tone green fragrance, so it's called Green Fig, and it comes across as a slightly bitter fig note to me. It's green meets tropical. I'll probably throw that somewhere in the title or the thumbnail or something, because it's very much a green fragrance meets a tropical fragrance, and they put it into this bottle. Love the presentation of it. Not that that factors in anymore in my rating, but I think my first impressions rating is sticking to what my overall score ended up being cumulatively. Tongue twister. 8.5 out of 10. Great. This is a great fragrance, where I consider the Le Parfum a 9 out of 10 and the EDT an 8 out of 10. And again, in every category, including the overall score, it falls right smack dab in the middle of them. So if you like either of the previous 2 versions, that makes this a must try for you. If you're a little skeptical, maybe you weren't a fan of either of the first 2 versions, tread lightly, be careful. It will become more readily available. Get a decant, get out and sample it when it hits department stores, because it's not going to be for everyone. It absolutely will not be. No fragrance truly is, but for me, it's an 8.5 out of 10. Well, that's my thoughts and feelings on the new Jean Paul Gaultier Le Beau Paradise Garden. I'm a fan. I'm very much a fan. I'm happy to have it. I'll continue to wear it. It's great for the spring. I don't think it's the best summer option. I think the other 2, believe it or not, the Sweet Le Parfum, I love wearing during the summer. I'll rock this in the summer as well, but this one's more of a spring fragrance to me because of the green, kind of slightly heavier, earthy tone to it. Again, when I say earthy, I don't mean dirt and vetiver. I mean just the way this ginger comes across. I want to make sure to let you guys know. It's like cutting into some ginger to cook with. That's probably the most realistic note of everything that's in here to me personally. But until next time, do me a real quick favor, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, because I do appreciate all the feedback. And I love hearing from you guys. How many of you tried this? How many of you jumped on that stock at Fragrance Buy when it came in? I would suggest anybody that wants to try it, the link's down below. Click it. Click notify me. That way when they restock it, you'll get an email and you can have an opportunity to jump on it, because it's not readily available here in North America. I was very fortunate and very lucky to get my hands on this, as were many others that jumped on it and sold it out so quickly. And until next time, I will say, if you get your hands on Le Beau Paradise Garden and you give it a spray now, you might end up thanking me later. Have a good one, guys.